Hey, here's a look at number 11 on the lab. If I take a peek at this, it kind of seems it seems strange to ask this question, but it's to explain. It's to let you play with some ideas. There's some flexibility in this, so don't get too caught up in the details. You, your parents decide to help you pay for your child's education. This year, they establish a trust fund of $100,000. So you invest it. So it's going to go into the bank investment savings, kind of yellow stuff. Tax-free interest of 5%. How successful will this trust fund in being paying for your child's education? Now, that's you. So it depends on your age, and there's a diversity of ages in our group. So if I put $100,000 in a bank account and I earn 5%, which is finally back to a normal percentage rate. So 5%, and it says, does it say this year establish a trust fund investment account, tax-free annual interest, and that word annual interest, and nothing mentioned about how often it's compounded means it's going to be compounded once a year. It doesn't say monthly, it doesn't say anything else about it. So there we go. I put in one time a year. If you want to look at this, here's $100,000. It's growing at 5%. That means $105,000 after 1 year. So just so you know, that's actually kind of a nice thing to know if you have some money to invest. So if you do have $100,000 sitting around, which is if you work for a number of years and you have some retirement and you're earning 5%, which isn't unusual if you have like a general, you know, investment fund through some kind of company, a moderately diversified fund. That's pretty cool. So yeah, you make $5,000 on a given year, through no effort of your own. So it's good to have those investments around. $5,000, no work required is a good thing. Okay, so we watch this grow 2 years in, and boom, you see this thing growing pretty fast. Now, how many years are we talking? It depends on your age. So if you are 20 years old, and your parents tried to fund your child's college education, you have to think, well, I'm 20. I'm not going to have children until I'm, let's say, 30. So that's 10 years from now. They won't go to college for 18 years. That's 10 plus 18. That's 28 years down the road. And so this is a hypothetical. And so let's go 28 years. I'm at 24 years right here. If I highlight that last row over my table happened to end, if you go right down the middle and you highlight it and then grab the lower right hand corner with the plus sign, I can take it down to 28 years and say, all right, there we go. There's my investment. That would be $392,000 for my child's education. Is that enough? Well, if you think of what education cost you at this day and age, think 28 years down the road. Do you think that would be enough money for them to fund the child's education? So, what's your current tuition? Think of how it grows over this period of years. If you want to come up with another scenario, you could actually think about how your current amount of tuition, let's say you're paying $35,000. I've heard that might be applicable to somebody, and it grows. And by the way, tuition does grow at rates like 5-ish% because that's kind of inflation. Maybe let's be conservative, let's say 4%. If that's true, then 28 years from now, your current tuition of $35,000 growing at 4% per year. I'm sorry, I put that in the wrong place, didn't I? 4% per year. There we go, sorry. 4% per year should be actually the same idea, but I'm going to fix that formula down here. Sorry about that. Would equal this divided by, there we go, not a proper formula. Didn't actually change what I wanted it to accomplish, but it's okay. If you go down to 28 years, whoa, $104,000 is going to be college tuition. If it's $35,000 now, and it grows 4% per year for 28 years, remember what it was $392,000. Would that be enough to cover tuition? Well, actually, almost, because that's basically you'd need $400,000 roughly for 4 years of education. It's not bad. So you can decide for yourself what's reasonable, what's not, or you could say it's not quite enough, or yeah, but they would have to work a little on the side and pay for some of their own college tuition, or take a few loans, things like that. So argue it for yourself, but based on that information, remember it was a $100,000 trust fund. So there's growing 4% per year. If you go to 28 years, I was just saying a 20-year-old expecting to have a child at 30, who would then graduate 18 years after that, I'm thinking, that's 28 years down the road. Your scenario would be different. If you're currently 25, you already have a child, add 18 to your current age, and you're only 18 years away from that. So you might only have $202,000 in your bank account because that'd be 18 years. Would that be enough for you at that point in time? So go ahead and make a logical argument, give yourself some numbers to back it up, and you're good to go.